So this is our first episode of the Corona Cast.
What?
The Corona Cast.
No, it's we are disorderly conduct. I mean, we are not disorderly conduct, but this is the title of the podcast.
Yeah, we are not a partnership of disorderly conduct, and we do not support harems or cults based on them. Just putting that out there.
Do you want to tell the people your name?
Yeah, my name is Nathan Sanchez.
And my
AKA
name is
Nick Brownlee.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't finish.
All right, no, go ahead.
No.
Give yourself a nickname too. That's fine.
I don't have a nickname. My name is my nickname.
Okay.
My name is Lila, which is my nickname.
Yep. But yeah, so we'll get into this. So this is gonna be my
Wait.
It's gonna be my horrendous, very obscure TV references and news of the day, starting from the coronavirus.
And featuring segments from yours truly, including the Arabic word of the day.
Yeah, and we're back, dude. See, I need my soundbar so I can play like wicked.
I'll be your soundboard. What do you want?
Give me the inner monologue of our wonderful horse here.
Oh, you want me to do the inner monologue? The fuck did I do to deserve this?
I don't know. He's got nice chains.
Please.
Love the hat, the gold sweater. Yeah, so this is our glorious leader of Turkmenistan. See if I can pronounce his name. So you know he's sexually interested in horses. That wasn't just a joke. Like,
wait, no, like actually?
Yeah, he has like long descriptions of like the beauty of the horses that really sound like he wants that horse dick. Like really, like you thought I was joking, but like he paints horses.
Okay, but that's normal. People like horses. What do you mean? He paints horses.
He likes horses the way that Tina from Bob Burger likes horses.
Oh, okay.
Combine that with her butt and fan. Like he literally will talk
about.
So
he's Tina Belcher.
Yeah, if she was really more going after horse dick than just butts.
Okay, but
that's
we know that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like Gruber Canelli, Barry Muhammad. Here's him with a dog. It never ends. The leader of Turkmenistan and his photo ops. I have a dog.
What the fuck?
Like Schrodinger's cat. The president spent. Maybe it's a cat.
I'm actually so upset. Is that Putin?
Yeah, of course it's Putin.
He's like, what are you doing? Even Putin is like, can you not?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like, when you think about, like, the world leaders all convene at various moments,
no,
right?
I know, but I'm just like, the poor dog, why are you holding it
like
it's dead?
Know.
I'm so upset.
This is what happens when dentists are allowed to run amok and just do whatever they want in life. They
we all know
even
they're
more
the biggest psychopaths.
horrifying sociopaths. Yeah, them and, I don't know, just the weird doctors, they tend to become even crazier. But yeah, there's your leader of Turkmenistan.
Jesus.
Just always giving them the hits year after year. So do you have something you want to lead off with?
Well, why don't we start with the Arabic word of the day?
Okie dokie.
I obviously didn't plan because that's the story of my life. So I'm gonna throw it back on you and ask you what one word, not a phrase, what one word do you want to learn from Arabic today?
Just one word. It can't
one
be a phrase.
Word.
Damn, so many good phrases. Like I wanted to know what growing pains.
Okay, I don't even know that, so sorry, it's not happening.
Just grow and pain.
No.
What does that combine? How about udders or nipples? Because
based upon
the horrifying image of this dog's underside.
Nipples in Arabic? I know what boobs are. I don't know what nipples are.
Okay, what are boobs?
But that's not fair. That is so easy. It's literally so easy. So I'm gonna give you another one after.
Okay.
It's literally nene.
Nene?
Yeah.
Nene. Is that what that means? Is that why like they like?
Well, I don't know if that's the official word, but that's like Iraqi slang word for it. So
okay,
I don't
sure.
know what the official word is.
Nana. Nana. No.
So, but that's not interesting. Like.
Okay, let me come up with something better.
Have I ever taught you shit yet?
Shit. Sure. Well, I mean, that's where you got to start. Curse words.
Yeah.
Ass, shit, fuck, motherfucker.
Well, I don't know the last two. My parents never taught me the F word in Arabic. So.
Yeah. Well, they might not have that much of an equivalent. Your parents never really taught you the F word, and
no.
That's unfortunate.
What was I gonna say? But I don't know if it has the same impact. Like Arabic doesn't use like fuck the way English
Yeah.
does. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, it's
curse
not,
words are all language specific. It's
Yeah.
like tabernact is like the
Exactly, yeah,
expletive, but
tabernact, yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, shit in Arabic. Okay. Khara. No, khara.
Harach.
No. Okay.
Jesus, you picked the worst word ever. It's got like 15 of those.
No. It's just kha
Khach.
re.
Khach.
No. What are you doing?
Khach.
And then it's just an R. Like, okay, if I was to spell it out for you, it would be like KH, and that's the kh, and then ARA. So.
Kara?
No, khara, not.
Khara.
Yeah, there you go. You got it. I'm so proud of you. It's like the kh is basically like you want to produce phlegm in your throat, like you're about to spit, and then you don't spit.
Yeah, so you're saying I needed to get coronavirus, and then I'm going to learn Arabic really quickly.
Yeah.
Just give me that corona phlegm.
Oh, jeez.
I'll be a fluent. I'll learn Yiddish at the same time. Do you want to segue into an Ivan Borodin?
Yes, let's do that. So Nathan has discovered the best YouTube channel ever, and for
Greatest
those of you who only listen on audio, well, sucks to suck for you.
Oh, but he has so much audio content as well.
That's true. But I feel like you really need to like see him.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, you're never gonna see his art.
I was gonna say you're gonna miss out on his artwork.
Inexplicable YouTube channel. Yeah, so this is his inexplicable YouTube channel. Note the
What?
Kirkland office home and basket liners in the background with these two people.
Wait. There's something else. There's like another Kirkland thing on top. It's like home and wastebasket liners, 10-gallon.
I think it's the same thing. It's just the top part of the thing, and it says basket.
It's bent.
There's-
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Who is that?
I don't know.
What is that?
I think these might be acting friends of his.
I was gonna say, is that his daughter?
I think he wishes. I don't know.
Oh God, yeah. Based on that Anne Frank video we saw. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
So meet Ivan Borodin. I don't know. So he is the quintessential failed actor living in probably Los Angeles. He has many IMDb credits, such as some movie about Anne Frank and a minute-long clip with Johnny Depp in an early film from the 90s.
Which, let me add, is uncredited. So he's pinned this as like his, home, like his, I don't know what this is called, but it's like the pinned video on his YouTube page. Yeah, and yet it is uncredited. The movie, his role's uncredited.
Yeah,
so
funny. But he's providing a lot of very valuable services. So I found this because it was a tutorial on how to speak with an African accent. Possibly the most inexplicable thing, because he doesn't seem to understand that Africa is not a country and one culture. Yeah, so but he offers you can learn how to speak with as an Irish brogue. I'm not really sure what that is. Boston accent, New York accent.
Yeah, hold on. Can we pause for a second? Why does the Irish language get brogue and everyone else gets accent?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But I think his favorite is the Boston accent. That's what he has credited on his IMDb page. He made this tutorial a credit on his IMDb page. I mean, maybe it wasn't this exact video, but that's what it was credited.
It's also listed as a documentary short on his IMDb, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's complete insanity.
The Arabic accent one is my personal favorite.
Yeah, it's pretty. He just wants to sound like a mystical brown person.
Yeah, it's so awful. Like I said earlier, Arabic also has multiple accents. So an Egyptian accent is different from an Iraqi accent, is different from a Lebanese accent, is different from a Moroccan accent.
Really?
Etc.
Yeah, exactly. But we all know everybody in Africa speaks exactly the same. Doesn't matter if you're from Egypt, from Morocco, or South Africa. It's the same accent. Okay, well, let's hear one of his great hit singles. So not only is he a great, talented actor, a true master of accents, a watercolorist, he is also a folk country rock star.
Wait. Oh, you hid this one from me.
There are times in my life when I need to hide. The thoughts I entertain keep me inside. but I am no island. I want someone like you.
I feel really creeped out right
So
now.
I talked and did what I had to do.
He really needs an audience to do the clap, but I mean his rhythm.
Now can I go
His
back
mouth really
in
scares me.
and let you know me? Can I disappear into my own country? I just wanna look into my own eyes. I need my own private, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
No consequences, no obligations.
Yeah, that's his singing, but he has numerous songs.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Bro, do you own a mirror? He's like, I want to look into my own eyes. Just go to the bathroom. What
He's
the
struggling.
fuck?
It's hard out here, you know. Not everybody can afford a mirror. So yeah, that's Ivan Borodin's singing. Yeah, again, he mostly has accents. He has southern drawl. He has multiple New York accent videos. That is another. What he just reposts these. He literally has 2 videos that are called "Learn a
Wicked awesome Boston accent. I love that the Boston is specifically wicked awesome.
Yeah, well, it's the one he's most proud of. Like he has 3 videos because I guess or no 2 videos, at least 2 videos.
No, 3. There are 3.
Oh dear God! So he has 3 videos on how to do the exact same accent.
Oh my god, he used to have a mustache. He looks like Edward Norton in that.
Yeah, he does. Well, it looks like a more like pedophilic Edward Norton. If that
Yeah,
was even
totally.
really
I'm sorry,
possible.
I didn't mean to disrespect Edward Norton.
But I mean,
like that,
Edward
but-
Norton kind of has that little like. He's got that, you know, the skinny guy fat gut where he's got that little weird gut punch. Like,
Have you ever seen American History X?
yes, yes, I have at least a couple of times. Oh my God! Oh my God! That is the most heavy-handed piece of shit movie I think I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, Edward Norton had like the weirdest career around 2000 because he made a Fight Club, which is the ultimate white guys movie, which is hilarious to me. That's a quote that comes from the late great Patrice O'Neill, where I heard this as he would tell this to multiple white comedians, but I heard him talking to Kurt, or it was a story told from Kurt Metzger and how he was obsessed with this. And like as was I. I loved Fight Club at an age.
I was literally just gonna ask you.
Oh,
as a white guy, do you like?
I read the book. I
Oh,
loved it. I was like 17, 16.
Do you want to know something?
Yeah.
I've never seen it or read it.
Yeah, I mean it has the big twist. You know what the twist is?
What's the twist?
Well, it's like actually it's viable to watch the movie if you don't know the twist.
Okay, then I won't. I'll watch it.
That's the only
eventually,
thing.
At
But
some point in my life.
but it is like the quintessential like I mean like before incels were a thing, it was like the quintessential like angsty white guy movie. So
So it's like incels like Fight Club?
they would probably adore it, especially in the
You're like, I don't know. I'm not
because
an incel.
like basically like there you've got like the Edward Norton character is like this like very spineless, like he works in an office job that he hates, and like nothing is really going right in his life other than his like IKEA furniture is on fleek, and he went on a flight and he like this is how I know about actuary science because it like he's an actuary. Like he does that work, and this is where like the whole like they talk about the Pinto story. Like there's because I've read 2 books by the guy, and like I think objectively he's like a bad writer, but there are like aspects of his style that are kind of cool. Like he does a lot of like weird repetition that kind of hit points home, and it's
Sure, but I feel like he's not the only person to do that kind of shit.
no,
It's not unique.
But I'm illiterate, so I read 1 book, and I was like, ooh, fancy thing. I understand now. But like, and again, I think if I read it, this was more like I was 17, 18, me enjoyed it. I think if I read it now, I'd be like, this is bullshit.
That's so true, though. Like, even for me, there are books that I really liked when I was... I mean, shit, my music taste is an example of this, but, you know, we all have our angsty phase, and I think things that I liked when I was younger, I don't think I would like now, so...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely some cool shit in the movie, but, like, yeah, the whole Patrice O'Neill line is that it's the ultimate white guy movie, because that's really who it's meant for. It's meant for angsty white guys, which are now more or less incels. Oh, that's what I gotta bring up? The incel.
Thank you. Let's,
The incel. The greatest incel photo of all time.
Oh, what is this? Have I seen this? Have you shown this to me?
Maybe. I might have to do this in a later... Whoa. Okay, so, like, do you know, like, some of the... I vaguely know it, but like a lot of incels have like they call like chads or like the fuckable guys and stuff like that.
I don't know any
Anyway, they have their own internal nomenclature where it's like the objective guy that gets like vagina easily is like a chad, I think.
It's hilarious because in the world of, normal people / feminists, Chad is like the white guy that you make fun of. But anyways, continue.
Yeah. So this is what I thought. So incels called women... there's Stacy's and there's Chads. So like Chads are the alpha males. I'm just literally reading off this article and reaffirming what I know. But yeah, apparently I'm reading this whole article about, we'll do this later, but it's about incels who are going to literally break bones and do massive facial reconstructive surgery to change how they look.
Oh, for themselves.
Like very intense plastic surgery. But a lot of them are obsessed about this because it's always something is wrong about their like physical
so
nature.
They think, not their personality. Could not be that I'm an incel. God, no.
Yeah, and lots of these people are very unattractive. I'm not going to say they're not, but many of them have things like they're tall or they're not overweight. I mean,
I am a firm believer, though, honest to God. Like, maybe you think I'm crazy, but I truly think that your innerness, like, is reflected in yourself. You know?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep. So we've got our new bit. Is it a successful nerd or an incel?
Okay.
That's the new bit.
Okay.
So I'm trying
Do you have a photo?
Yeah, I'm trying to isolate it. It's on Instagram, so I don't want you to see the name because it'll give it away.
Okay. Are you gonna show me Elon Musk?
No. So don't just look at the photo. Try to not look at any of the other stuff. I guess the comments are fine, but. Incel.
I honestly
or
don't
a successful
know. He
person.
just looks really weird.
This is Henry Zabowski of last podcast.
I was looking at the comment and it said Bundy episode and I was like, nah, this is some successful white guy.
I need to isolate the images. The problem with Instagram is you can't get the images easily, but
just screenshot them. But yeah.
Well, yeah, but I can't do that on the spot.
I was like, he looks familiar. Why do I know who that is?
Yeah, he's lost quite a bit of weight.
I knew immediately. I looked at it and I was like, that's not an incel. It looks way too normal.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find more like. Yeah. So, but a big thing in the incel community is changing how they look with Photoshop. They're obsessed with this. So, like, this is a guy like that's his ideal version of what he wants to look like.
But frankly, just fucking pluck your eyebrows and trim your beard a little better. Not that bad of a looking dude. Just don't be a fucking incel.
Yeah, he looks fine.
He looks fine. Like he's not the most unattractive person I've ever seen. I'm just like, he's
pretty middle of the road. He's clearly not a fat dude. Like if you're going on the purely, the most vain ways possible, it's completely fine. But there's this one photo where, like, the combination of it is, I'm gonna find it. So there's this really good incel documentary where they people went in and talked to a bunch of these people that were really at the core of the community. It's actually very interesting how the true incel community started, because it was started by like a Canadian woman who was just like a really awkward person.
Yeah, I think you told me about this before.
Yeah, and the whole idea is that like it started in like a really good place where she just wanted to create like a forum for people who were involuntarily celibate. But like
that was like the origin of the word incel, right? Like involuntarily celibate.
Yeah, which is still what they cling to very heavily. But it was more that she just like it was very much like a recognition of like for a combination of potentially vain and just personality and just being like awkward socially, that they found it very hard to sleep with anybody or just like hook up for the first time. Yeah, but this
that's valid. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and this person was clearly like somewhat thoughtful. Like, it's more of she sounded like it was more from an insecurity standpoint versus being like a very aggressive, being like, why aren't you fucking me right now? Which is
she's a woman, so.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
No, for sure. But basically, as she created this community, it started to, like, as the internet does, it grew and grew and grew. This
out of her control. Yeah.
And then sects were created, not sex, unfortunately. Sects were created.
They wish, but no.
Yeah, you had different tribalism ran amok, and then you had these different separate groups, and the ones that we know today were this really angry group of younger men who took over the whole group. And there's a really good sources reply a little bit on this, or it's about a 20-minute breakdown of the whole thing, and they talked to the girl who started the initial. So it's very interesting how it just shows how the internet just perverted a pretty genuinely nice good thing. It was like
leave it to angry white men to ruin something. When do they ever?
We ruin everything. Why all the things, all the wars. But yeah, it was very much like the initial forum was very supportive and being like, it was a lot more about mediating social situations and how to deal with various
like
social...
just basically like this is how you get yourself out of awkwardness, out of social anxiety.
Yeah.
Like a more self-help kind of thing.
Yeah, which is
totally.
just smart. But
Absolutely.
It was cool. But
yeah.
then it turned into, people driving vans.
Well, speaking of documentaries and stuff, unless you have more incel stuff to show me today, do you want to talk about the Unvaxxed?
Yes, the greatest work of Robert De Niro.
So, oh my God. Okay, hold on. Let me jump in a bit. So last week, Nathan and I watched Unvaxxed, and a couple weeks ago we discovered that Robert De Niro, once beloved, is a massive anti-vaxxer because one of his sons has autism. And yes, he has decided to be one of those people who is convinced that after his son got whatever, the measles or whatever vaccine.
Yeah, it's like a triple, I forgot.
Yeah, it's like the
MRP.
MRA, not MRA, that's definitely not what
It's
I'm
the
thinking.
MRA.
Yes. I wish I could get
It's
him
the
back.
Multinational Rifle Association.
Or men's rights vaccine against MRAs.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, he's like convinced, and he's one of the founders of Tribeca Film Festival, and he was trying to premiere this anti-vax documentary, and it was obviously not received well, and he was on all these talk shows saying, I don't know why you gotta shut it down, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, well, he's for safe vaccines, remember, that's the key.
Oh God, yeah, his whole thing, anyway. So then we discovered the Unvaxxed, and they like explicitly say that this documentary is for Robert De Niro, and yeah, it's something else. It is something else.
Yeah,
it is unreal. I genuinely like I went in there trying to be like let's hear them out, but like I just want to like follow the rationale.
Yeah, understand.
And there was no fucking rationale. I think you can agree with this. Like I found it very, very convoluted and impossible to follow. I could not understand what was happening.
Yeah, well, it's like most conspiracy theories, they take so many jumps that it only understands someone who is truly woke and has their third eye open. They've unsalted their pineal gland or whatever the hell. So, yeah, so this is footage from the documentary. So most of it is kind of like a news broadcast where they're speaking the truth. This is the one woman who's... I don't know.
Oh, right. The best thing was the research I did after. Okay, well, let's go through it first. I'm not going to jump, but...
Yeah, the only thing I really want to hit home is just how... So they have this, like, sound stage with a green screen behind them. But, yeah, I mean, it's filled with a lot of weird, pretty racist stuff. They tie it into 9/11, the CIA. It's
bizarre. Like, the jumps are, like, crazy. They basically make these really weird links between people who... I don't know, like they think work for I don't even know what they were trying to get at, but they make these jumps and they're like, all these young people were proponents of the vaccine and work for the CIA, and then I don't know how they jump to 9/11, but they do that somehow.
I mean, it always ends up with 9/11 and the Jewish people. It's always one or the other. I mean, they might say it's big
like,
banks,
it's like
but
either or. Oh my God, the other thing about this documentary, I forgot all the like starving African children that they use in the background, but they also like make this theory that it was like an anti-black thing. Like, don't you remember that?
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, yeah, it was that the vaccines were designed to disproportionately affect black people, and which feeds into the Robert De Niro thing because his wife or his ex-wife is black, so it's half black, half white. But yeah, so again that feeds into the classic like. The CIA invented crack. Well, I mean, they did bring a lot of cocaine into the country. They invented AIDS. No, they just didn't care about it when it came out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, obviously we could, obviously.
Yeah, we can say the same stuff about coronavirus. It's disproportionately affecting black and Latin
and it's because of the systemic issues and capitalism and the issues
they don't have health care.
It's not because
their hospitals suck.
Illuminati crew is sitting in the fucking Pentagon making all this shit up. Yeah.
Well, you probably know this, but like the there's literally like studies been done on doctors and healthcare professionals that are like treating. It was done specifically on black people versus white patients.
Yeah, it's specifically.
And they thought black people could handle more pain.
Yeah. No, I know all about this. That like specifically black women, because I don't know if you've heard, especially recently, it's come back into news in the Twitter world and all that, but like black women are really more at risk in labor and everything in the hospital, but they're like basically disbelieved in pain. And I think it goes back to basically, I mean, it's so fucked up. It's like beyond words. I don't even, but like, anyway, there's been a lot done on that, but yeah, it's not because they invented vaccines that way. I mean,
I mean,
especially in this day and age, I think it's really important, especially with the coronavirus, to emphasize like anti-vaxxers think that they don't want vaccines, and this is the world without one vaccine. We're just scrambling trying to find one vaccine so that millions of people don't die today, and it's just insane.
To a relatively benign virus. I mean, not that it isn't insane, but when you consider all the other things that we have vaccinated, do you want polio to come back?
Exactly, that's the other thing. It's like the reason we aren't fucking in a pandemic in a million different ways, in a million different viruses, is because we found vaccines able to eliminate them. And hopefully when we find one for coronavirus, this is why anti-vaxxers need to sit their asses down so that we can all take this vaccine that they create and we don't have this issue anymore. I will step off my soapbox and let's enjoy this beautiful documentary.
So this is Dr. Leonard Horowitz. He promotes, using garlic to cure all viruses. I think it's not a terrible idea at the very core root of you should eat whole foods. And
but I mean, I'll get into this guy after.
But they're not a replacement for vaccines. But the quality of the set is just unrivaled. His website is called love528.net. He does not own the rights to that URL anymore. You have to Google it and it gets redirected through a few things. You'll see the disproportionate amount of black people in that. But the best part about his set is that he's definitely a Hollywood doctor. If that's not really obvious by his spray tan and weird trimmed eyebrows. Why he claims to be a doctor. He's like a doctor. I think he's like a homeopathy doctor or something. Because in America, it's pretty easy if you just want the definition of doctor to get it in some form. He's a doctor of something.
Yeah, I get
you. It's a lot of homeopathy. Did he go to med school? Probably not. But there's a whole side note of this because this whole thing is called Hollywood spin. That's the basis of it. And in this video of anti-vaxxers, they're promoting Denzel Washington's possibly greatest performance ever, The Equalizer, and I will cut this video to show The Equalizer right now. But a few lunatics.
It's the MMR vaccine. That's what it's called.
MMR.
Yeah.
But that's enough.
So just to finish this off, I'm going to say that. So as we were watching this, I was like, because I remember reading about how the MMR vaccine was. So there was a study done in 1998, which is done. Okay, I need to backtrack even further. So in this documentary, they talk about a bunch of what they call whistleblowers who
truth tellers
leave the WHO and the CDC in the US to make these studies, which after I was like, this is so familiar. So I Googled it, and it turns out that the way that they're framing the narrative was based on the 1998 study that kind of spawned this anti-vax movement and the association of MMR vaccine to autism. But it was actually that study that was discounted for being awful science. Now, if anyone knows anything about science, I did some digging on this article or this research, so-called research. It was a case study based on I think it was 12 children who had gotten the MMR vaccine. And of those children, I think almost half of them had developmental disabilities before even having the vaccine. And there were a bunch of million other basic issues with this article that was published in the Lancet, which blah, blah, blah. It's not even, it was Nature or some scientific journal. And so a guy like this guy or whatever. And they claimed that they were the whistleblowers and they're the whatever. And it's completely twisting the story. It's been discounted by many, many scientists, and there's no such association. And
so they would have you believe. I think clearly they were trying to suppress some true tellers of complete honesty. But
Yeah.
Oh no, I mean vaccines
Oh,
have
vaccines.
mercury in them. Do you think it's okay to inject mercury into your body?
Oh, God.
Do you not think? Have you not heard of the great Chinese ruler of 4,000 years ago who built a river of mercury and ingested mercury all day and night?
What are you
And
talking about?
Oh, you didn't, I was riffing, but like that's a true thing. So there was a one of the more prolific emperors of like ancient China. I mean, like mercury was, people were obsessed with it, right? They thought it was a cure-all. They you know, obviously
think it was
poisons
like-
it. Yeah, well, but I mean, it is a pretty trippy thing. Like it's a liquid metal at room temperature. Like it's a very
I
bizarre
know.
thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It sheens in a very interesting way, but like so this has never actually been so like a lot of the things that we know, the crazier things about like ancient China have actually never been uncovered. Like they're still buried and completely closed
Sure,
off.
yeah.
So like the terracotta warriors, everybody knows about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure most of those, I'm sure you can find some of them, but most of those are still in underground chambers that have been sealed. And I'm pretty sure it was the exact same emperor. He had people build a replica of the entire map of China underground.
Oh, yeah, I think you told me about this.
So it was kind of like a Warhammer style. That's way too nerdy, but just like a mini map of China underground.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And all the rivers were filled with mercury.
Oh, wow, what the fuck?
Yeah. So I mean, it's probably one of the craziest things you'd ever see if you were able to see it. But yeah, that's
True.
that's
Well, that's it for that. Please get your vaccines. Don't be stupid.
that's a great screen to pause on.
Yeah, it
Don't
really is.
hurt
Oh
the
my
children.
god. Oh my god. Where's the Sarah
With
McLachlan
your-
song? Where it's like, you know, the in the arms
Well, that's what I was about-
of an angel.
That's what I was about to do, but just do. I saw a tiger. Don't hurt the children.
Hashtag free Joe Exotic. Anyways,
Yeah,
continue.
that bitch Carol Baskin.
Yeah, we don't fuck with that bitch Carol Baskin on this podcast.
I mean, Joe's got his own issues.
Oh, of course, they all do. But I mean, just side note,
Yeah.
they're all fucking crazy. That show's bananas. Alrighty, what's next? Oh, you wanna pull up? I sent you some stuff. There's two articles in there.
It's fine. The articles that you pulled
We
up.
have
Mother Jones. So
no. Let's do Britney Spears first.
Britney Spears. The Spears.
So
Whoa, she's not looking good. That is a bad photo.
well,
Damn.
I mean, can you blame the girl?
No, she's
She has
gotta
like
be,
literally no
40 or
control of her
something.
life, and also that. But yeah,
Yeah.
she's had a rough go of it. But anyways, wrong song. So personally, I am hashtag free Britney. So basically, do you mind scrolling a little bit?
Oh,
'Cause
yeah,
I
sorry.
can't- I don't know it like off the top of my head, but basically,
Yeah.
for those who don't know, so after Britney had her meltdown in 2007, I believe. It was 2008, but I think her meltdown started in 2007, I believe. But basically, you know, where she shaved her head and blah, blah, blah. And, like, she was clearly, like, super mentally ill and just having a lot of issues. But what they decided to do is her dad, or her family, whatever, but I know her dad is her conservator, but they employed a conservatorship, which is basically, like, he controls absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Her estate, all her assets, her money, every decision in her life. Like,
Well, she was committed to a degree, right?
well, she was committed, but even after she was like out.
Yeah, but
Like-
that was the precedent for how you created this kind of legal control.
Sure,
or something
but I feel
along
like
those lines.
it's pretty crazy for it to last. So basically, this is
Yeah,
the crux
yeah.
of what I'm saying. It has lasted for over 12 years now. She hasn't legally controlled her life and fortune in 12 years. This is a Business Insider article. And it literally was just extended as well. It says until April 30th, but obviously I'm sure it's just going to keep going and going and going until someone uncovers this story. People have tried to dig deep into it. A lot of people are concerned about Britney, even celebrities, like fellow celebrities. And her family keeps coming out and being like, she's fine, she's fine. I'm like, well, obviously you're going to say she's fine if
Yeah.
you're in control of her. Like, there's some parts of this article where they talk about how she literally can't, like, go out and, like, okay, so she goes, oh, this is the most fucked up thing about the conservatorship. Everything that she spends is public record,
Oh yeah.
right? So, like, so nothing in her life is private. Like, it's property of the courts, which is then public. So if she wants to, like, take her sons to the movies and buy them popcorn, all of that transaction is public. So every move of her life is public knowledge. It's so fucked up.
That's such a bizarre combination of, well, I mean, celebrity in its modern form. I mean, it's whatever.
Of course,
the hell it is.
with paparazzi and
yeah, but it like it's a bizarre because like she was definitely one of the new celebrities, right? Like I feel like maybe. Well, whatever. Yeah, like Elvis Presley was that type of thing, but then you had Michael Jackson, which became a whole other type of thing. But like the '90s was really like you had the boy bands, girl and she was like, I mean, definitely the pinnacle of that for fame, right? Like she'd have to be, and like she was so monitored. But it's insane that she's even excelled to an even deeper form of that. I don't know.
It's beyond like, bizarre. And
she's legally binding minute by minute. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, if you scroll down a bit more, I think it'll. Yeah, so that's like a picture of her breakdown, and if you scroll
she went into blackface for a minute.
Well, I think it's just bad tanning, but if you scroll,
still though.
So yeah, like she was also like love that like her way of rebelling recently.
She had dreads? Jesus.
No, I think her hair was just super dirty and matted. Like I don't think there was dreads. She didn't have dreads. It's just like curled but like really fucked up.
Okay, fair enough. It just looks a little.
No. So this is the worst part. After that, it says her father. So after all the breakdowns, it says he petitioned for an emergency temporary conservatorship. Yeah. But like she's clearly mentally stable now, so there's no reason for her to like have this conservatorship. Anyway, what I love is that she's like, we need to seize the means of productions. Those are like a series of her Instagram posts, and I'm like, fuck yeah, Britney. I'm all about your shit.
That's the only one I would say that's legitimate. Cause,
and also, like, she doesn't have the means of her own production.
Yeah, it's like she created this empire. It's like she was she was in the Disney Star Search or whatever.
Was she?
Oh yeah, she definitely was.
Oh yeah, I think so, because it was like her and Christina Aguilera.
Yeah,
and,
like so
Justin Timberlake.
Timberlake.
And Ryan Gosling was with them as well.
Oh really?
Ryan Gosling?
He was. Did he sing?
I think there's if you like Google Ryan Gosling as a kid, I think there's like him and like Justin Timberlake or something. Like I'm fairly certain. I'm almost convinced of it.
Okay, I'm just gonna go Britney Spears. Just make sure I have the Star Search, right? Yeah. Okay, I do. Star Search. Ryan. Whoa. Yeah, definitely. He's Canadian?
Yeah, he totally was. Yeah. This is the video. Dancing? That's him. You see, like, there's all these girls, and he's like out in the right-hand corner. Yeah, that's him. That's the video I was thinking about. He's also in like a Goosebumps episode.
Really? Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. He looks so much like his adult form.
I know, right? He hasn't changed at all. You're like, yeah,
holy. Whoa, this is so crazy.
I can't believe you haven't seen this.
Oh, no, I had no idea. I assumed he was... Yeah, he's doing like Michael Jackson fucking wannabe moves. Oh my god, he's got like the Hammer Time pants too. Right? Jeez, so 90s. Oh man, this is crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Because they all like. I mean, it makes me wonder like what other people were on that just didn't go into like the music industry. Because like obviously Justin, like most boy bands and big pop singers came from this.
Yeah, I mean Ryan Gosling is the only one that I really know.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I was gonna say he couldn't sing, but he has albums too, though. He has
he can sing, and I love his music. Are you kidding me? I wish he made more.
Wow, that's trippy.
I think it's called No Man's Bones, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah, no, his music, he actually can sing. His voice is really good.
1992, Jesus.
Yeah, I really like his voice, actually. But I love Ryan Gosling, so.
Yeah, fair enough. You're sliding off the chair right now.
Oh, shut up. I mean, you're not wrong, but
yeah. Okay. Wow, that was.
Okay.
Jesus, that was crazy. So Britney.
Yeah. Wow. So poor Britney, free Britney. Hopefully, like I don't know. I just want to bring more attention to it. Like I'm like anyone besides our friends are gonna listen to this, but really, I hope that I'm waiting for the day she's free, or that this becomes like a huge uncovered documentary.
No, this becomes like a surviving R. Kelly type situation.
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
it's fucked. It's beyond fucked. Her dad has always been like fucked up. I know that it's always been. It's the same thing with Lindsay Lohan, right? Like her family was also awful to her.
Yeah, she was in like that the Twins movie,
which is like my favorite, Parent Trap.
Yeah, Parent Trap, the remake.
Mean Girls was great too. I showed you Mean Girls. Like, she was great.
Yeah, I know. Mean Girls is actually...
you know who else was actually really fucking funny? Amanda Bynes.
I I'll take your word for that because I couldn't stand her because it was like because like I had a younger sister who was just obsessed with like the Hilary Duff and the Amanda Bynes Disney TV shows, and like.
But if you actually like look at clips of the Amanda show, like it was truly funny. It was like Mad TV level funny. Like it was actually really funny. Oh. It was not your typical like Disney show or anything like that. Like she really had like sketch comedy quality. Like she was good, and that was another whole thing.
So Britney, free Britney. That is conservatorship. I've never even really heard that.
I've never heard that. That's the crazy thing too. Like I feel like it's a rare thing. Like or it's very temporary. Like people will take your assets if it's like a temporary thing, which clearly it was supposed to be. Do you want to just scroll? I don't want to like dwell too much on it, but I just want to make sure that we're not. Yeah, so I talked about all that, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, man. Yeah, she really wanted
Yeah, it's like the exact details of the arrangement aren't known, but all of Spears' financial decisions must be documented in court reports and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, so she has a net worth of $59 million, and yet, okay, obviously it's still a lot, but like $400,000 on living expenses and $66,000 on household supplies. Like, when you are worth $59 million, that's fucking nothing. That's actually nothing. Yeah. And she spent $1.1 million on her legal and conservator fees that year. And I do not believe that her dad only took home $128,000. Yeah. I bet you he took a lot more.
Well, no, because he could have been. Well, he would be the conservator fees, and he was paying yada yada yada. Still $120,000 for taking care of your daughter.
Yeah, and like she spent $1.1 million on clearly something that is not like something she wants to. Like it's not like 1.1 million. Like that's 12 million over 12 years. If we say like, because she's been in conservatorship for 12 years, like 12 million. I mean, obviously like fuck money and fuck millionaires and fuck rich people, but like that's still insane.
Yep.
Like, because let's say she wanted to donate or wanted to like, she just has no control over anything that she wants to do, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, because like I very much understand if someone has gone insane. Like I met a couple of people that have had serious mental breakdowns.
You have a mental breakdown.
And clearly they're not in control of their own faculties.
Of course, you don't want them to like blow their money.
And there's some type of financial, but that, I mean, obviously that person shouldn't be allowed to have any kind of spending rights out of those accounts. But tight deadlines. But it really gets back to just major healthcare problems. But like that study when they wanted to test psychiatric facilities, so they sent a bunch of normal people. They were just told what symptoms to express to their psychiatrists, but they were all normal people. And they wanted to see how quickly they could get out based upon just like you give those initial symptoms, you get committed, and then you try and get out like a normal person. But and most of them took months. And months. And
I mean, we could do a whole
bring on Nurse Ratched.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode just on like the abysmalness of the mental health care system.
But that's going to segue into my F. Lee Bailey bit on when Better Call Saul is a pretty normal lawyer all across America.
Are you going to do that later?
I don't have all the research in front of me.
Well, why don't we've done quite a bit for our first episode, so why don't we end with, it's a solemn note, I don't know if we want to end with it, but do you want to pull up the article on the guy who's been on solitary confinement? It's the Mother Jones one.
Yep, bringing it up right now. 27 years in solitary confinement.
Okay, I'll read it for you. So it's short-ish, I think, but I want to do Keith Lamar justice. I'll do the preamble and then I'll read he's actually written it. Well, he told it to Samantha Michaels, and this is on Mother Jones, but do you mind just scrolling a little bit?
Yeah.
So this was actually, it was posted, I think, it was like in March, but, so it says, for 27 years, Keith Lamar has survived solitary confinement in a supermax prison in Ohio, isolated for 23 hours in a space the size of a bathroom. From his bed, if he crooks his neck at just the right angle, he can look out through a slit of a window a few inches wide at a parking lot. But in all these years, he hasn't touched a blade of grass or a tree. The closest he's come to the outdoors is in a below-ground concrete wreck cage covered by a steel grate ceiling. If he's lucky, he might catch a glimpse of the sun. He is 50 years old now, and he was locked up as a teenager after killing someone in a dispute during a drug deal. A few years later, he was moved to solitary confinement and sentenced to death after he was convicted, quote unquote, of murdering 5 inmates in a prison not known as the... murdering 5 inmates in a prison riot known as the Lucasville Uprising. He says he did not kill them. Also, it's important because for those of you who can't see the article, he is a black man. Which obviously is very important because, American prison systems are basically slavery 2.0. So, if you just scroll, I just want to, read, I'll find a way to, link this article somehow when we post this so you can read it. It's pretty short.
We'll post full resources on everything.
Yeah. So, just, if you scroll, okay, so this is where it starts. I'm just going to, read. So, he's, kind of written this thing.
Yeah.
In solitary, I'm already quarantined somewhat. It's basically a reflection on quarantine, obviously. The only way we would get sick is if a correctional officer or somebody brings it in. It's probably inevitable because the guards, even if they don't have a temperature, can still be carrying the virus. Mm-hmm. And they are the ones who pass out mail, who give us food. I'm doing what I can in terms of washing my hands frequently, but there's only so much you can do. You're just sitting here waiting to catch it.
Yep.
I had a strict rule with my family that if anyone is sick, please don't come visit because once you get the flu here, it's just torture. They don't give you any medications beyond ibuprofen, so you pretty much have to suffer through. If you catch something as severe as coronavirus, I don't know how they intend to deal with that. Perhaps they would ship you out to another facility, a hospital. I'm definitely afraid. They have suspended all visitations, so our families aren't able to come. Before, I was getting 5 to 6 visits a month. Nieces and nephews, my uncles, aunts, and friends. I realize there's a pandemic, so I'm all for suspending visits temporarily. My fear is that after this is said and done, they will use this as an excuse to extend the no-visit policy. I went 18 years without being able to hug my family. That's the only concern I have besides getting sick. People have been asking me questions ever since this shelter in place, with people having to stay home. It's somewhat similar, I suppose, to being in solitary confinement, even though you might be with family and whatnot. Being in solitary confinement is really just being thrown upon yourself. You're running around just like people do in your regular life, and now all of a sudden you're confronted with yourself and find that in a lot of cases you haven't really put anything into yourself to occupy yourself. Everything is outward directed. That's what happened to me 27 years ago, and what happens to a lot of guys who are initially thrown into this situation. It's like being thrown into the ocean. You have to learn how to swim. You have to learn how to deal with yourself. I've been lucky in a lot of ways. My cell has a bookshelf with 3 shelves, and there's a table to sit and write. I have a lot of music, books to read, not to distract myself from myself. This is my favorite part of this, but to take me deeper into myself. I paint, I work out, I do yoga, I meditate. Yeah. I didn't know I could write. I dropped out of high school in the 10th grade. I was 23, 24 years old at the time. I was thrown on death row, at a loss of what would become of me. My education, if you can call it that, has come from my own efforts. I just started reading Richard Wright's Black Boy, which is one of my, this is an aside, one of my favorite books, over and over, paying attention to what he was doing and how. Before I knew what a semicolon was, I saw how he was using it. That's how I learned to write, and I became an author. I'm not the best writer. My book, Condemned, probably won't make the New York Times bestseller list, which is a shit list anyway, so who gives a shit? Yeah. That's my aside.
Yeah. Unless the person paraphrasing all this is cleaning it up to insane degree, it's incredibly well written.
No, I think it's a letter that he wrote to her, so.
Yeah. Well, the start of it, people should definitely read this, is all in italics, which is definitely said to separate the author of the article versus the author of the letter content, because this is insanely well written.
Oh,
the pathos
it gets even better. Yeah. But that is my story, and I wrote it, which I now really want to read that book. And in that way, I feel somewhat vindicated that at least I tried to stand up and say something about my life. Damn right. I also like reading about the Holocaust. One of my favorite authors dealing with that genre is Primo Levi. Compared to my situation, his situation was much more extreme. You could die or be sent to the gas chamber on a whim. The arbitrariness of being thrown into those situations, I respond a whole lot to his experience. James Baldwin, which, as an aside, Nathan, is one of my favorite authors.
Yeah, watch the documentary, I'm Not Your Negro.
Yeah. the fire next time is also a big influence on my life. And Ta-Nehisi Coates, Between the World and Me. We've got 3 bookshelves. All 3 are filled with books. Being in solitary confinement, these books are my community. A lot of these guys, I've read their books over and over, so I'm intimately connected to these people. James Baldwin, I consider him like a family member. I've watched quite a few people fall apart, lose their minds, but I went in another direction. So 27 years later, I'm still sound in mind and body and spirit. I attribute that to just reading and cultivating myself. That's the thing. When you're thrown upon yourself, you realize you are more equipped than you realize. A lot of the system keeps us from realizing our own power. I think that's a very powerful line. Mm-hmm. It's a good opportunity for people to tap into that. Being in solitary confinement, it's a punishment. But people out in society, it's an opportunity for your kids to get more in tune with themselves. Because when you're in school, especially with the internet being what it is, everybody is generally being pulled away from themselves. The root word of education is to educe, I think, to bring forth that which is already there. Education isn't really about what kind of career you're going to get or how you're going to make money. That's not why we were born, to make money for somebody else, to get a big house, to have a nice car. You're here to bring forth that which is already there. Hopefully, young people being forced to stay home outside of the mainstream curriculum are able to get a glimpse of themselves and start pulling on that thread.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. That was incredible. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I want to read this guy's book as well. But yeah. I mean, exactly what people should be getting out of the whole coronavirus situation is self-improvement. Like, you have this, like, you can either take the Larry David standpoint of, like, you guys are missing an excellent opportunity to sit on your couch and watch TV, which he's not wrong.
That's good too. That's important
just
too.
chill the hell out.
The thing is, like, life is I've been seeing a lot of, like, we don't want to go back to normal, and I agree with that. Like, the Dollop, which, you know, one of our favorite podcasts, talk a lot about, like, Dave Anthony and Garrett. They talk a lot about, you know, getting out there. I know they're speaking in American context, but I think it really applies in general because we live in a global capitalist world that, you know, you want to get out. We don't want to go back to the old normal. Like, that's not something we should strive for. And there are elements of quarantine that are nice in the sense of, you know, you're able to, you know, even if you have to still work, like, I'm still doing work, you're still doing work, but
still work.
You're doing it on your own schedule, and it's nice to kind of just slow down and, I don't know, just not feel stressed all the time, and I don't know, like, clearly, like, even America is, like, I know they're not doing, like, anywhere near enough, but even they send out stimulus checks, and it's like the world is being forced into social services, employing social services, and, you know, obviously a lot more needs to be done, but if this isn't a time to be awakened, then I don't know what is, but I just wanted to highlight this article, but I think that's it.
Yeah.
For our first podcast.
Yeah,
unless you want to add anything else.
No, I think I'm okay. Maybe something funny at the end.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if we want to leave it on this note. I mean.
But yeah, definitely hit up Keith Lamar.
His book is called Condemned.
Clearly well written.
Yeah.
We will post the links to this and all the other things that we did.
Yeah, I'll also I'll find the link to his book as well. Probably you can find it on Amazon or something. Yeah. Maybe find a way to write him a letter or something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, yeah, also to Joe Exotic, guys.
Oh, God.
Also, free Joe Exotic. He's now accepting literature. I mean, I think Keith Lamar, you might want something more intellectual, actual thought.
Also, probably way more deserving, as much as I joke about Joe Exotic.
Yeah, Joe still did some. He did some dirt.
He did a lot. Yeah.
He killed staggers. But anyway, send some stuff to Keith Lamar, and we're just gonna end on this.
I knew it. I was just gonna ask you to end on this. See, this is why we're partners in nonsense.
I'll be coming up with my cover very soon. I just learned this yesterday.
This should be our song.
For a while.
Tell all the hunters to lay down their guns.
Oh my God, look at the little tiger.
Tell them that the tiger needs a little bit of love. Let them run the jungle. Let them roam their lands.
then stand back and marvel, what a beautiful cat. 'Cause I saw a tiger, now I understand. I saw a tiger,
We know what that is, by the way.
tiger saw a man.
All right, I think
I can give him a home.
that's it from Disorderly Conduct.
Just fade this to the